The Egyptian pyramids stand as the world's most famous and enduring enigma. For millennia, they have brooded on the Giza Plateau, silent sentinels of a forgotten age. We are told they are tombs, colossal monuments to the ego of god-kings, built with brute force and simple tools. But the official story is a fragile papyrus scroll, fraying at the edges, unable to contain the weight of its own inconsistencies. The truth is far stranger, a secret not of treasure or alien intervention, but of a profound and lost human technology, a technology of resonance, of geomancy, and of a purpose that transcended death itself. The secret begins, not with the pharaoh Khufu, but centuries before, in the swirling sands of pre-dynastic Egypt. A advanced, but different, culture existed, not technologically advanced in our sense of mechanics and steel, but profoundly advanced in its understanding of the natural world. They were the Shemsu Hor, followers of Horus, a priestly scientist caste who possessed a deep knowledge of geomancy, earth energies, harmonics, and the subtle properties of stone. Their great discovery was the planetary pulse. They found that the Earth itself vibrated at a fundamental, low-frequency resonance, now known to modern science as the Schumann resonance. They also discovered that certain geological formations, particularly those with high concentrations of quartz crystal, abundant in Aswan granite and Tura limestone, could act as natural amplifiers and transducers for this energy. Their early experiments were modest, standing stones arranged to channel energy, creating zones of heightened vitality and mental clarity. But their ambition grew. They envisioned a machine not of moving parts, but of stationary stone, a device that could harness the planet's energy and focus it for a singular, monumental purpose: to catalyze the human soul. The orthodox Egyptology timeline is correct in its names, but blind to its true architects. The step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara was not the first tomb of a king. It was the first large-scale prototype. Designed by the legendary Imhotep, a name that means "he who comes in peace," but who was likely the greatest master of the Shemsu Hor, the step pyramid was a resonant staircase. Its layers were tuned to different frequencies, designed to step up the energy drawn from the earth beneath it. The evidence? The complex is riddled with over 3.5 miles of underground tunnels, not for burial, but for acoustic testing and energy channeling. The subterranean chambers resonate at specific frequencies that can induce states of altered consciousness. The success at Saqqara proved the concept. But the Shemsu Hor needed a perfect location, a planetary chakra point where the Earth's energy was strongest. They found it at Giza. The plateau was not chosen for its proximity to the capital Memphis, nor for its stable bedrock. It was chosen because it sat directly atop a massive subterranean geological fault, a natural fountain of the very energy they sought to harness. The project, what we call the Pyramid of Khufu, was never Khufu's. His name was attached to it, a pharaoh claiming the work of geniuses to bolster his own divine legitimacy. The Shemsu Hor needed the immense manpower and resources of the unified kingdom, and in return, they offered the pharaoh the ultimate prize, not a tomb, but a gateway. The construction was not achieved by whipping slaves, a myth perpetuated by Hollywood and Herodotus. It was a national, sacred project. The workers were skilled, well-fed artisans who lived in a permanent community nearby. The secret lay in sound. The Shemsu Hor understood acoustic levitation. By using large arrays of precisely tuned drums and singing bowls, they could generate a specific harmonic frequency that would cancel out the gravitational pull on an object. The quarrying at Aswan was not done with crude diorite pounders. Workers would embed bronze plates into the granite, and teams of priests would strike tuning forks against them, sending a resonant vibration through the stone. The rock, already under tension, would cleave cleanly along perfect harmonic lines. The same principle was used for movement. The multi-ton blocks were not dragged. They were placed on round, flat platforms made of quartz-rich sandstone. When the correct frequency was applied, the platform would hover slightly above the ground, allowing a small team of men to guide the multi-ton block with minimal effort as if it were on a cushion of air. This is why there are no wear marks from sledges on the Giza Plateau. The stones flowed into place. The pyramid's design is a masterpiece of harmonic engineering. Its sides are aligned with terrifying precision to the cardinal points, not for astronomical symbolism, but to align with the planet's magnetic and energetic grid. The choice of shape was critical. The pyramid form naturally focuses electromagnetic energy into its apex and its chambers. The missing capstone, often thought to be gold, was likely a massive, polished piece of electrum, a gold-silver alloy or crystal, acting as a powerful conductor and emitter. Inside, every element is a component of this great machine. The so-called King's Chamber is the heart of the device. Its walls are built from immense, painstakingly dressed blocks of Aswan granite, a rock comprising 55% quartz crystal. Quartz is piezoelectric. It generates an electric charge under mechanical stress. The weight of the millions of tons of stone above the chamber creates constant, immense pressure on these granite walls, making them perpetually charged. Within this chamber sits the only object found inside the pyramid. Not a treasure chest, but a coffer. It is not a sarcophagus. It is too large to have been brought through the narrow passages, proving it was placed there during construction. It is made of a single block of granite with a unique resonant frequency. The chamber itself, through its precise dimensions and materials, amplifies the planetary energy drawn up from the subterranean chambers below and focuses it directly onto this box. This was the purpose, the transfiguration chamber. The ancient Egyptian concept of the soul was not a single entity. It was a composite, the Ka, life force, the Ba, personality, the Ak, the eternal, transformed spirit. The pyramid was not designed to preserve a physical body. The mummification process did that. It was designed to act on the non-physical components of the deceased. The ritual would have been precise. The pharaoh's body, having been mummified to serve as a stable anchor for the Ka, was placed inside the granite coffer. At a specific planetary alignment, when the energy flowing through the pyramid was at its peak, the priests of the Shemsu Hor would initiate a harmonic ritual. Using chants, tuned instruments, and perhaps even the vibration from the planet itself, they would flood the king's chamber with a focused field of energy. This energy would perform a function akin to nuclear magnetic resonance. It wouldn't break chemical bonds, the physical body, but it would act on the subtle energy body. The goal was to separate the Ka and Ba from their physical tether cleanly and completely, and then fuse them together under this immense energy to create the imperishable, stellar Ak, the transformed spirit that could journey to the realm of the gods, not as a shadow, but as a sovereign, eternal consciousness. The pyramid was a catalyst for spiritual alchemy. It was a machine designed to create a god. The other pyramids at Giza and elsewhere were attempts to replicate this effect, but later pharaohs and their priests only possessed a fraction of the knowledge. The Shemsu Hor were a closed, secretive order. With each successive generation, their knowledge became more ritualized, less understood. The Pyramid of Khafra appears larger because it is on higher ground, but its interior is a clumsy imitation. Menkaure's pyramid is smaller and hastily built, a sign of a declining empire and lost understanding. The end came suddenly. A cataclysm, perhaps a massive earthquake triggered by the very fault line they tapped into, or a sudden shift in the climate that caused famine and social collapse, brought the age of the pyramid builders to an abrupt close. The Shemsu Hor vanished, taking the deepest secrets of harmonic science with them. The language of resonance became the language of myth. The purpose of the great machine was forgotten, and later generations, finding these colossal structures empty of treasure and bodies, could only assume they were tombs that had been robbed. The function was lost, only the form remained, and its story was rewritten by those who no longer understood its song. This secret explains the mysteries that baffle archaeologists. The lack of mummies. No mummy has ever been found in a pyramid of the Old Kingdom. Because they were not tombs, they were transformation facilities. The body was removed after the ritual was complete and buried safely elsewhere, its purpose served. The pyramid was now a sacred power spot, a beacon for the perfected Ankh of the king. The absence of hieroglyphs. The walls of the Great Pyramid are starkly, eerily bare. This is not the mark of a tomb. Tombs were covered in spells to guide the soul. This was a machine. Instructions aren't written on the circuits of a computer. The precision of the geometry was the instruction manual. The mathematical precision. The pyramid's dimensions encode mathematical constants because its builders understood that these constants are the fundamental frequencies of the universe. The ratio of its perimeter to its height equates to 2 pi because its function was planetary, and it needed to be tuned to the planet's proportions. The air shafts. The narrow shafts emanating from the king's and queen's chambers are not for ventilation. They are waveguides, precisely aligned to specific stars, not for stellar worship, but to tap into the resonant frequencies of the celestial bodies they represented, adding their note to the pyramid's great symphony. The pyramids did not stand alone. The Great Sphinx, far older than currently believed, was the guardian of this science. Carved from the natural limestone of the plateau, it sits directly above the main aquifer, the source of the water table that enhances the conductivity of the Earth's energy. Its placement is geomancy, not artistry. Today, we scan the pyramids with muons and lasers, looking for hidden chambers. We are like children tapping on the side of a supercomputer, listening for hollow spots, completely unaware of the electricity that once flowed within it. The secret of the pyramids is not a hidden room filled with treasure. It is a hidden science, a lost understanding that matter and energy are not separate, and that consciousness can interact with this relationship in profound ways. They are silent now. The tuning forks of the Shemsu Hor have long ceased to vibrate. The knowledge to activate the great machine is gone. But the stone remembers. On a quiet night on the Giza Plateau, if you place your hand on the sun-warmed limestone and listen not with your ears, but with your bones, you might feel the faintest hum, the echo of a silent symphony, a song of earth and sky, composed to elevate humanity to the stars. The pyramids were never meant to be monuments to death. They were the launch pads for eternity.